Hi Libra, welcome to your November 2019 Astrology 33 reading. Thank you to those of you who've liked, viewed, shared, subscribed, and donated to the channel. I appreciate all of that. And for those of you interested in booking a personal reading with me, just check out the description of the video for all the information you need on that. Alright, so with that out of the way, we have a Celtic cross spread in front of us. I think you only got one extra card there. Then a lot of oracle cards came out, so definitely going to be a lot to get to there once we get to the main spread. And also a mudra card. So let's get started. In the present situation position, we have the Eight of Swords. So this is actually a Gemini energy. So for you, that would be your ninth house. But more importantly, this is also about communication, since Gemini rules the third house of communication. And I mean, you guys are going to have Mercury retrograde during November, but it will be in your second house. So this is interesting energy here. So for some of you, this can be something that you're really caught up on and reviewing as far as your finances go. But since it's more third and ninth house related, because like I said, Gemini is the natural ruler of the third and your ninth. And then in the challenge position, we have a Sag card, which is your third house and the natural ruler of the ninth. So there's definitely an interplay between those two houses. All right, here's one random way that I could see this playing out. This probably isn't going to relate to a lot of you, but hopefully it does. Especially because I think a few months back I had this vibe that some of you were thinking about moving internationally. So let's say it's that same dynamic where maybe, you've really been working hard to learn a foreign language, right? Because you're like, all right, if I'm going to move to this whole different place, I need to learn the language that they speak there natively, right? So maybe you've been putting a whole lot of effort into that and you don't feel like you're comfortable speaking it yet, so you could be caught up in your head like, all right, I don't know if I'm ready for this yet, right? That's just one random way it could play out. Just wanted to give you one example, at least, to give it some context. But another way this could play out on a more basic level could just be saying that there's something that you've been holding in for a long time that you need to communicate, and for whatever reason you just haven't felt comfortable doing it. It's either become a burden to you because you've been holding it in, or this is communicating about something that is burdening you, that you need to release. So it could be either way. But that's what I'm primarily seeing there. All right, in the foundation position, we have the Tower card. So, usually this represents something happening where something that you thought was on a firm foundation turned out not to be. And usually it'll come as a sudden jolt, obviously. This can be one of those things, I have to say, especially with Mercury being retrograde. And, there's going to be a full moon opposite Mercury and all that. So this can just be pointing to, for some of you, pointing to the fact of needing to get it out there, or it'll just come out anyway. So what I mean by that is, if there is something you need to communicate and it's been burdening you, or again, like if you need, let's say you need help with something, but you don't feel comfortable asking for help, it's another way it could play out too. This is just saying that it's one of those things where if you don't take the reins there and actually take action to communicate whatever it is that you need to communicate, it might end up coming out anyway, and in a much more abrupt way that you don't have control over. So that's one way I could see it playing out. Another way that I could see this energy playing out too, though, is it could just be because you're so fixated on something mentally, so stuck in your head, that other areas of your life might end up, suffering as a consequence of that. So just something to keep in mind there. The main vibe that I'm seeing here is like you're in a mental fog, and it's interesting because there's nothing really going on in your 12th house right now. Technically, you have Mars in your first, and I know that Mars in Libra is an uncomfortable placement, but this doesn't seem like Mars in the first energy at all. It seems like more than that. Just seems to be a general fog around you guys for some reason. Maybe that's why so many Oracle cards came out, because maybe I'm not able to interpret what's going on here either. I don't know, but definitely that's primarily what I'm picking up on is that, you might just be fixated on one thing and not gaining any traction on it. And as a result of that, something else might fall by the wayside because of that. All right, in the past position, we have the Hermit. So this is another indicator too that makes me think, if we just think about his position in the spread, he's looking away from this and completely oblivious to the fact that there's a tower in the foundation. So this is another indicator that makes me think you're focused on something. It could be anything. Like I said, third and ninth house related. Another way this could even be playing out too could be saying that maybe let's say this is for a college student, right? You're in college and maybe you have a really heavy course load, especially because this card represents the last 10 degrees of Sagittarius. And that usually represents around the time when people go through finals in college, like the middle of December. So can be what it is, where it's one of those things where you might be feeling overwhelmed with your course load, but yet, it's just building up, because you're not taking any action toward it. So that's another random way I could see it playing out, especially with the Hermit too, because the Hermit to me sometimes indicates higher education, really learning something in great detail, and having his back to that tower moment. I would see that that's a bit of a warning in that regard. On a more basic level, this could just be pointing to this might be you reviewing something in the area of your work and daily routines. Maybe something that took place back in the time of Virgo as well. That could be what's at play there. In the present position, we have Queen of Cups. So this is a court card of Cancer. And for you guys, Cancer is your 10th house of career and social status. And then, of course, Cancer is the natural ruler of the 4th house, where, there's plenty of activity going on in your 4th house, that's for sure. Pluto, South Node, Saturn. So it can relate to either of those houses for you. Now, maybe this is something that you need to communicate to your family. Maybe there's some kind of a family issue that needs to be communicated on, and maybe you're reluctant to communicate it to them. Another way this could be too is could just be saying that maybe you're really working at something as far as your career goes, and maybe it's under wraps at this point where, maybe you haven't revealed exactly what it is, but obviously it's something that you covet because this is the only cup in the cup suit that's closed off. So it's something you've probably put a lot of work in, which would be the 10 of Wands, right? And maybe it's one of those things where you might even be talking yourself out of putting it out there, right? Like, okay, I don't know if it's ready yet. It could be one of those things. That could be where the Eight of Swords energy is coming into play. Like, all right, I don't know if it's ready yet. I don't know if it's ready yet. And then what this makes me think of with the Tower, technically it's not the exact same thing, but it almost makes me think of the lid being blown off of that cup, right? So let's put it one way. Let's say there's an idea you're working on. No one else has this idea, right? You're like, all right, this is going to be a big thing for me. And you just sit on it and sit on it, sit on it. And then someone else comes out with that exact same thing, right? And then that would be the Tower moment. Like, because you hesitated to put it out there, you just took so much time waiting on it. Someone else brings the idea out, and now you pretty much, that ruined your plans. It's just one random way it could play out. Yeah, that's what I'm picking up on there. Either something career-wise or something family-wise that you haven't communicated. All right, in the near future position, we have the Moon card. So for some people, they view the Moon card in the upright to be an indicator of deception. And I don't necessarily see it that way. I see it a little more likely when it is in reverse, though. Because to me, like I say with the moon, moonlight is natural. You go out in the street at night and maybe you can't see things as well as you would during the day, but pretty much everything that was there during the day is still there at night, right? You're not, there's nothing out there trying to get you. So no matter how many horror movies we might have watched growing up. So, it's one of those things where it's in reverse. That's where I feel like there could be an attempt to conceal something, or you're just not seeing something as clearly as you should for whatever reason. Like I said, there definitely does seem to be some kind of a fog going there. Not to mention you guys have the Hanged Man at the bottom of the deck too, which to me could say that you are actively trying to look at something from a different perspective, but maybe you're having some difficulty in trusting what you are seeing. That could be how it's playing out as well. So, and I would say definitely keep an eye out for the moon cycles. By the time I've posted this, I'm recording this pretty much right in the middle of October. And so as of right now, we haven't had that new moon in Scorpio yet. So it can't even be that because it's going to be opposite Uranus in your eighth house. So that could be, kind of an intense one for you guys. And again, can be related to finances in that regard too. And then there's going to be the full moon in Taurus. That'll be around the middle of November. And since this is a near future position, that would be more likely. And again, that's eighth house activation there. So something to look out for there. As far as timing goes, where maybe something will come to light. Now, in a way, I feel like it might be more likely with the new moon, just because, like I said, it'll be opposite Uranus, so there might be sudden insights that come to you there. And then the full moon will still be in the middle of that retrograde energy, so that might be even more foggy, but definitely keep an eye on those moon cycles. All right, in the position of your energy toward the situation, we have the Seven of Cups. So, I mean, given that this is your energy, this could just be pointing out to what I've been feeling anyway, which is, like I said, I feel like there's some kind of a mental fog. You're not sure of yourself as far as communicating something or moving forward with something. This can just be even you, just saying that you might have a lot of options on your plate as well. And maybe that's the difficulty, trying to decide which one to go with, right? Or maybe trying to take on too much at once. So that could be what's at play there. And then this actually represents the last 10 degrees of Scorpio too. So again, another indicator pointing to the middle of November, which is when that full moon is going to be. Yes, I think that's definitely keep an eye out for that full moon in Taurus. I think it'll be around the 12th or 13th. I don't know, give or take a day or two. In the environment position, we have the Judgment in reverse. So this could be playing out a few different ways. For one, if there's something that you've been trying to bring back around from the past, or someone's trying to reinitiate something with you, more than likely it wouldn't happen this month. But with this in the reverse too, this could just be saying that there are messages, something's trying to get your attention. Now, whatever you want to call it, spirit, whatever term you would give it. To me, it's like there's a message trying to come to you, but with it in reverse, you're not hearing it. Again, like I said, the eight of swords energy, this Seven of Cups energy. So it's like there's signs that you may not be picking up on. So keep in mind that as well, which is to say, really try to tap into your intuition if you can this month. Now, of course, if this is what you're seeing when you're tapping into your intuition, then you might need a little more than that. But that's what I'm picking up on there, though, that there's some message trying to come through to you, and maybe even in your dream state. And looks like there's some difficulty with that. Hopes or fears position, we have the Five of Pentacles and the Two of Swords. So this is a Libra card, and this is a Taurus card. So again, there's more indicators that, to me, this points to something's coming around with the Taurus energy going on this month. The new moon that will oppose Uranus will be in those degrees, so could point to that, or again the full moon. And then we see here, trying to decide between two things, and once again the blindfolds too, that we see in the Eight of Swords as well. So could be that you're fearing being left out in the cold, so that could be in a connection, or maybe fearing some kind of financial difficulties. Could play out either way, and then that has you just really stuck in your head as far as making a decision, right? So maybe maybe you view whatever this is as a bit of a risk if it's a career thing, right? And maybe that's why you're still holding on to it, like, I don't know if this is ready to come out yet. And yeah, I get it as far as Mercury going retrograde in your second house. Yeah, that could be a little tricky for money. But maybe that'll actually help you put the finishing touches on something, that you have been working on for a long time. And then if that's the case, the good thing is towards the end of the month, there's going to be a new moon in Sagittarius that's going to be trine Chiron, and also Jupiter and Uranus, not Uranus, Jupiter and Venus will be conjunct around that time too. And that's all in your third house of communication. So, maybe what you're wrapping up here, maybe that'll be what'll happen. Like by the time you get to that, the early Sagittarius season, it might be ready for prime time, basically, put it that way. And in the outcome position, we have the Ten of Pentacles. So this is the funny thing. It's like there's all this mental fog and not moving and worrying about the Five of Pentacles, and yet the outcome is the Ten of Pentacles. So on a mundane level, this could just be saying that this is you connecting with family, right? Especially those of you in the States, you might be going home for Thanksgiving, let's say, right? That's one way it could be playing out. But I'm really picking up on the vibe that it could be related to what I was saying with that new moon. Maybe whatever you're worried about, maybe you're sitting on it, maybe you get some sudden insights with the energy, with the Uranus energy involved in that new moon in Scorpio, and then the full moon. Maybe something comes to you there as well, and then maybe by the time the retrograde ends and we shift into Sag season and we get that supportive new moon, that's going to be a really good new moon. The past few lunar cycles have been a bit rough. That's going to be the first really smooth one in a while. So maybe that's what it's saying. By then, you have everything wrapped up somehow, some way, and it's ready for prime time. But we'll see. Um, First oracle card we have is Poised. There's the artwork, and the number is 48. It says being ready, bringing something to light, being at your best, confidence. The oracle's message: you can be assured that you are ready for anything right now. You know what you need to, your skills are sharp, you've come to this place armed with wisdom and knowledge, and you sense a new phase of your life about to begin. People respond to your confidence and trust you. This is an auspicious time to begin new things. What's interesting to me there is I feel like this message, this card is probably more hyping you guys up because that's what I do feel. I feel like you do have the knowledge, or whatever you have is valuable, but you're hesitant to put it out there for some reason. Like I said, with that Ten of Wands, to me, that represents that you've done the work, right? You've put in a lot of work, but with that Eight of Swords, you're just hesitant to take that step forward for whatever reason. So maybe this is just letting you know, hey, just stop worrying so much and everything will work out. The relationship message says, when you're confident and happy in your own skin, you are ready for deeper, more intimate relationships. You have nothing to prove right now. You are completely yourself and can handle anything. Love, friendships, and harmonious new connections are all present now or are coming in. You're ready to give and receive from the heart. This is a beautiful place to be. So, really, I didn't pick up too much of a relationship vibe at all. This seemed like a lot of just your energy for the most part, but hopefully that resonated for those of you looking for some guidance there. The prosperity message says you have every reason to feel confident. Everything you need to make your success concrete is now at your disposal. You can take action knowing you are ready to step into your power, into your light, and into your service to the world. The direction you're moving in is your destiny. Your soul is smiling with joy as you align with this truth. So, that's another thing that makes me feel like, at least for some of you, it could even be one of those things where you have this thing you're sitting on, right? And there's like signs everywhere that it will be a success, but like you talk yourself out of it, right? Like, oh, well, is that really what's going on, or am I just imagining things, or am I telling myself that to feel better? It could be one of those things of just a lot of self-doubt for whatever reason. But yeah, we'll see what the next oracle card has to say. You got Between Worlds. And to me, already, this one seems more like what I see going on here. So hopefully you get something from this too. There's the artwork, and the number is 3. Okay, it says transitions, not being quite out of one situation and fully engaged in another, temporary blindness, no man's land. The oracle's message: between the worlds is where you must let go of the tendency to make assumptions. This is a time when you are unable to see what is ahead. Cultivate curiosity and trust the process of change and growth. You are done learning the lessons of recent experiences. In this place, between what was and what will be, is a state of making and unmaking and making again. What is essential now is to admit not knowing. There is great freedom and power to be unleashed. A mystery that is not yours to understand weaves the web of life within a divine matrix of consciousness greater than your own thoughts, feelings, beliefs, desires, and decisions. The seeds that were planted in the past begin to take root, but what surfaces will probably not be what you expect. When you are between the worlds, you are invited to see with the curious eyes of a child glimpsing a rainbow for the first time. Do so and you will not be disappointed. So, definitely an interesting message there. And also in the beginning thing where it mentioned temporary blindness, that made me think of what I was saying with the 8 of Swords and then also the 2 of Swords and your fears. But hopefully you got something from that. The relationship message says this is a time to explore the new energy between you and another. It is not a moment for certainty, but rather for discovery and curiosity. You don't yet know if this will last forever, so allow yourself to explore who you are and what is reflected back to you. This relationship is meant to educate you about yourself. What do you need? What do you like or dislike? What values are important to you? You are in a critical phase of your relationship that is not to be dismissed or hurried. So, definitely an interesting message there. And like I said, I just didn't pick up on a whole lot of a relationship vibe there. But for those of you who are looking for that, hopefully that helps you as well. And then the prosperity message says in your work, sometimes you try things that have worked for others, hoping that you too will be successful. When this symbol appears, it reminds you that sometimes, the path to your prosperity is a gamble. Win or lose, you can learn much from what comes of your wager. It's a good time to bet on your skills and talents in new and different arenas. Remain curious, and with the right combination of timing and luck, you will stumble upon something golden that will be unlike anything you've known before. So, definitely a pretty cool message there. So, hopefully that resonates for you guys too. Like I say, you do have 10 of Pentacles in the outcome, even though it looks like there's like a whole lot of fog in the early part of the reading. But, alright, moving on to your next Oracle card, we have Stag Spirit. It says, take the lead. And this is from the Spirit Animal Oracle deck. There's the artwork. The number is 58. All right, it says, whether or not you have set your intention to lead, you may have found yourself suddenly called to step up to the forefront of your life. Stag Spirit is a reminder that now is a time to heed the call to be sure, strong, and compassionate. Others will look to you, and you have it within you to see through the eyes of Stag Spirit and walk with confidence as you take on the responsibilities that are yours now and model integrity in all that you do and in all your relationships. Be willing to see the best in others so that your compassionate heart keeps you on the right path. Stag Spirit wants you to know that your responsibilities now are to yourself too, for you are learning and developing new skills. The best in you is coming into view as you step forward with strength, knowing that Spirit supports you as you compassionately take the lead. You are a model for transformation now, sharing your experience, strength, and hope with others so they may grow and discover their best selves too. What a gift you are. Stay humble and authentic and walk your talk, for this is how a wise leader leads. So, pretty cool message there. And Maybe that's somehow what's going on here too, right? Maybe someone else in your place of work suddenly leaves, and then that puts you in a position of leadership that you weren't ready for in some way, right? But maybe the message there would be to just ride with it, stay true to yourself, and things will work out. All right, and the last oracle card we have is Dog Spirit. It says being loyal to what you love. There's the artwork, and the number is 19. All right, let's see what that has to say. It says Dog Spirit appears to remind you that although change is a part of life and all of us are meant to evolve, our love and commitments remain strong. You are loved now and can trust that this higher love is true. Spirit loves you and love has arrived in many forms now, manifesting in the people you surround yourself with, expressed uniquely through them. Dog Spirit also says to be true to that which you love, for now is a time of good fortune. Be steady as you recognize that people and things are always transforming. Your heart is loving and true, and Dog Spirit wants you to know that your steadfast commitment to experiencing and expressing love will attract and manifest more love. You deserve all of it. Have faith in Spirit's plan for you. So, definitely a really good message there as well. Hopefully, you guys got something from that. And lastly, we'll take a look at your mudra card for the month. So, the mudra you guys got is Dhyana mudra. There it is there. The keyword for it is meditation. And let's look at some of the info on it. Alright, so if you want, you guys can pause it or take a screenshot to see what it has to say. And then, since not everything fits in a frame, I'll move it up so we could see the rest. Okay, it says facilitates natural diaphragmatic breathing, aids efficient digestion and assimilation of nutrients, helps the earnest spiritual seeker to embody their original nature by releasing striving and attachment. The gesture gives tangible expression to what can't be explained in words. So if that sounds like something you think would be helpful, I'll also put the name of the mudra in the description of the video, and we'll wrap up there, guys. I'll see you all next month. All right, bye.